I just want to live my best life. I just want to live my best life. I just want to live my best life. Tell me how. Dear Dre.
Hey guys, welcome to DearDre. This is another episode, and guys, guess what? I have another letter. Now, this letter hit close to home, and all right, for one, it took me some time to do this video. One, because I'm back in school. Y'all know, I told y'all before, I'm a master's student. My last year, hey, so I'm back in school. I'm working, so time has just been non-existent for me. But I started DearDre, and I'm going to continue until I finish it. So you don't have to worry. It's just going to take me some time to put up some new videos. The second reason that it took me a long time to get this video done is because of how real this letter was, how close to home this letter was, and how much it was so familiar to me. So as a master's student, I'm studying school counseling, and the one thing about being a counselor, about being a therapist, is to know yourself. And reading this letter brought me back to a time when I went through a lot of things, and I felt like I was losing myself and finding myself at the same time, and I really didn't know how to explain it. And this letter just brought up some really old feelings, and so I had to deal with myself first before I even brought it to you guys, because I can't give any type of advice. I can't give any type of input if I am not one-on-one with my sister who sent this letter. And I had to get myself together so that I could bring the letter to you. So anyway, I'm going to call this episode Gay in God. I said it. I said what I said. Gay in God. All right, so we're going to start with the letter. I'm going right in. Dear Dre, first of all, I want to start by saying that I love your channel and the motivation that you're giving people to encourage them to live their best life. I can also respect your honesty and transparency, so know that you're doing a good thing by creating this platform. Keep it up. I want to thank you, because without your letter, I couldn't have had this next episode. I mean, I could have had this next episode, but Dear Dre is about sending in your letters and me reading it and putting my input and helping others to live their best life. It's all about passing experiences on and the lesson that has been learned. So without you sending in this second letter, honestly, Dear Dre was just going to be me chatting. So thank you for sending this letter, and I really do, I appreciate the love. I take the love, I take the motivation. You guys telling me that I'm doing a great job, and you guys giving me feedback about my channel is helping me to be confident in DearDre, and being confident that I'm doing a good thing, and being confident to make more videos. If you know me personally, you know that this channel has been a big step in my growth, in my life, and in my maturity. It took a long time for me to be recording in front of the camera, and honestly, I'm about to do another surprising thing, because this letter got me there. When I read this letter, a song came into my spirit, and I just started singing it, because I just think it explains this letter and maybe what we take out of this letter. I don't sing very often in front of other people, and I guess this is about to be on somebody's computer or phone or tablet, whatever you watching me on. But it's okay, because this letter is that serious. So sometimes when we go through a lot of things and we believe in God, and sometimes we feel like we're straying away from God, or we're not sure what the answer is, or if we're doing the right thing, and part of us feels okay with something and part of us feels not okay with something, and still we're blessed. Still we are chosen for this time. Still we are woken up every morning. Still we are brought to sleep every night. Still we go outside, we take MTA, we're not slashed or stabbed. We drive in our cars, we're on the highway, nobody cut us off so quick that we couldn't control our own vehicle. We didn't slide off any roads. still we're blessed. Still we find favor. And I just think that all has to do with saying thank you to God, because we don't deserve everything that he gives us. So the song that came in my spirit is a real oldie. You know, if you know this song, you could just sing along with me. You know what I'm saying? But it's a real oldie. But it goes something like this. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. I just want to thank you. I just want to thank you. I just want to thank you, Lord. You've been so good. You've been so good. Oh Lord, you've been so good. Oh, I just want to thank you. I just want to thank you. I just want to thank you, Lord. Because we don't deserve it. Into this letter, y'all. So my sister wrote, but personally, when it comes to living my best life, my sexuality is what I feel is the biggest hindrance in my life. I'm 25 years old and I identify as a lesbian. For all my life, I always knew I was different. I grew up in a Caribbean Christian household. If y'all grew up Caribbean and Christian, St. Lucia, big up 758, TNT, St. Vincent, Barbados, Grenada, if you, Jamaica, if you grew up in a Christian Caribbean household, you know how hard it is to say that you are part of the LGBTQ plus. Even to say that you support the LGBTQ plus is a big thing in your house. So she grew up in a Caribbean Christian household. Yet it didn't stop the feelings that I had for girls growing up. I spent so much of my life as a child begging God to take away those feelings because I didn't want to disappoint God. For a long time, I suppressed my feelings as long as I could get to the point where I didn't know who I was anymore because I wasn't being my true self. So I'm going to stop right there. Girl, I have spent many nights crying. I remember there was a night, I don't remember what happened or what brought me to this, but I just know that night, I never begged God for something so hard. I cried. I had snot, head, everything was dripping, okay? Just asking, begging God to take away these feelings that I had for women. And I told him, I said, if you take this away, I promise I'm gonna be good. Just take it away. Like, why would you even, you knew me before I was even birthed. You knew me before I was even in my mother's womb. When my mother was born, you knew me coming from her later after her 21 years of living. You knew me and you knew that this would be something that I would go through, and yet still I'm still here. Like, why would you even bring me here? Why would you even allow me to get here? If you knew I would do this and it would get you upset, and people around me would look at me this way, and my family would look at me this way, and my friends would love me, but they would be like, all right, Dre, when you gonna wake up? why would you even bring me here? And I begged the God that night. I begged him, just take it away or take me away. Something gotta give. Because I don't know what you want me to do here. My girlfriend said she loved me. And I ain't never had that type of love before. I feel secure. I feel safe. I feel like somebody actually wants me. I dated guys before, and they were great guys, and it was amazing little, you know, young relationships and first loves. But I feel like myself right now. But everybody's telling me that myself is not the correct self. I beg God, either take it away or take me away, but something gotta happen. And then I remember there was another night that I didn't beg God, but I told him, I said, you know what? This is it. I ain't fighting no more. I'm not fighting anymore. I'm not leading myself into depression, suicide, hurt. I'm not dealing with this pain anymore. I'm not asking you to take anything away. I'm living. I'm living now. I am going to live my best life this way. I'm living. That's it. I'm throwing the towel, throw up my hands. I'm not doing it no more. I love you. And I know you got a hand on my life. And I know you got a purpose for me. But I am no longer being depressed over this situation. I have a girlfriend. I love her. And that's it. I ain't doing it no more. I remember that night too. So, I didn't want to disappoint God. And I felt that night. For a long time, she suppressed her feelings. Yes. There's a long time that I suppressed my feelings too. I didn't really realize what those feelings were. I was just like, why am I like this? And then I met other friends that was like this. And I'm just like, alright, so I ain't weird. This is normal. So I suppressed my feelings for a long time. But I got to a point where I was hurting other people because of these feelings. And that was never okay. And I hurt somebody that I loved very dearly because I wanted to explore these feelings instead of letting that person live their best life so that I can live my best life. And that's not okay. If you know you feeling a type of way, and not even just like not even just like having feelings of being a lesbian or being gay or being bisexual, not just that, but just knowing that you like somebody else, period. Don't keep somebody else around. It's not fair to them. You let them know what it is. You be honest. You be 100%. And if they stay with you, then that's their choice. But let them have a choice. I didn't give him a choice. I just did what I had to do. And then I had to reveal myself and what I've been doing because it was getting too serious and too bad. And I had to let him know. And I ended up hurting him very badly. So if you like somebody else, if you're having feelings for somebody else, whether it's the same sex or the opposite sex, it doesn't matter. But don't string people along because it's not fair. It's not. But she said it wasn't until I got to high school and college that I had to accept that this is who I am. And that night when I told God I'm not fighting no more. This is it and this is what it's going to be. Yep. That was high school, college. Around that time. Yep. Same thing, girl. But even though I've accepted it, and many times, even to this day, I feel conflicted because all my life I've been told that homosexuality is an abomination and that it's wrong, but I've never felt wrong for loving who I love because for me, the relationships I've developed with women, whether they've worked out or not, have been the realest, most genuine love I've ever experienced. Again, Caribbean, and not just Caribbean, but Christian. You know, you grew up in that household. You know they telling you all your life. They didn't even know you was having these feelings. But out of their mouth, the comments they make when they see lesbians, gays, bisexuals, you know, have PDA out in public, the type of comments that they make, you know how your family feels about this subject. You know how your family feels about these people. You know how your family feels. And Christians, you hear it in church, you hear it at home, you hear it from your mentors, you hear it from your choir directors, you hear it from your dancers, you hear it from everybody. It's abomination. You're going to hell. You need help if you have these feelings. I do need help, but not from you. Because you just going to drive me to suicide. You just going to drive me to depression. You're not going to help me. I need to go outside for help. And that's the thing that I got to say about Christians. Yes, I am a Christian and I love God. But God, guys, there is a difference between relationship with God and a religion in God. And let me tell you, a lot of y'all, and I'm going to say y'all, a lot of y'all who's in that religion part of it, y'all missing people, man. You know how many lives done walked away because you're so religious? The Bible is a very important book, but it is not a literal text. It is a figurative text, meaning that depending on what message God has for you, it's what you're going to read in the word. So different people, 500 people could read the same passage and everybody might have a different outtake. Why? Because the message is for you how God wants you to see that message. And so you open in the Bible and tell me this is an abomination, you going to hell, this is going to happen, you going to burn in the fire, da, da, da. Like you going by the book. And sometimes, I just want to say this, sometimes you got to close the book and you got to meet me where I am. And a lot of you religious Christians out there, y'all missing a lot of people because y'all not meeting them where they are. Somebody comes off the streets to come to church and all they have is the club dresses that they got. The dresses that they go to the clubs with, that's all they got. And they don't know any better because, I went to church when I was like 3 with my grandma, but after that, my family ain't really go, and so I'm gonna just come because my friend invited me. You know what I'm saying? And they come to church, and maybe they're not how you would dress with your long skirts and long sleeves and neck covered up and ain't nothing showing but your eyebrows. And they come in and they showing a little skin and y'all just whispering and talking, especially the Caribbean Christians. Like, y'all just whispering and talking and whispering. Like, no. And this person feels so out of place that they done got up and walked out and told their friend, I'm gonna see you later, right, when we go to the club. I'm not staying for the service. But, like, you miss so many people and so many lives have just checked out of Christianity because y'all forget to meet people where they are. Forget what they have on. Forget what they smell like. Forget what they look like. Forget what comes out their mouth accidentally while they're sitting in the first pew. Forget all of that and meet them where they are. They are still human. And just like you don't deserve the love of God because of your mistakes, what you think they feel like? You've been a Christian for how many years of your life and they're a newbie. So if you still feel like, oh my gosh, I don't deserve the blessings and favor that God puts upon me every day of my life, how you think they feel just walking into church like, yo, do I really belong here? They don't feel like they deserve anything. Far less the love of God. They don't think they deserve love from other humans. And you just in there judging and talking and looking and remarking, like, no. Meet people where they are. They are still human. And like my sister said, she been told her whole life that homosexuality is a sin and that she's going to hell and this abomination and don't do this and don't do that. How about just talk to her? You never know. You never know. Just talk to her. There are so many churches out here that are very inclusive. And whether you are rebirthed and reborn into Christianity, meaning, for example, like myself, I'm no longer living the life as a bisexual. But that's not everybody's story, and I understand. I still deal with those feelings from time to time. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Those feelings never really go away. You still find yourself looking at somebody like, ooh, snacky. Like, alright, this is serious. Seriously though, those feelings never really go away, but I don't want to say that I stopped living my bisexual lifestyle because of church and because of what people in the church have told me or because of what the Bible seems to say. I stopped living that type of lifestyle because of the experience that I went through and the relationships that I had with females. Just like how we say men ain't The relationships that I have had with women have not been great relationships. And they gave me just as much headache as I had with males. And I just told myself that I couldn't do it anymore. So I didn't stop living the lifestyle because, oh, I'm going to hell and it's an abomination and it's a sin. No, I stopped living that lifestyle because of my experiences and coming to terms with how I feel about myself in that lifestyle. I did not have good experiences. One was half good, but it did not end well. And I just told myself that was like 1, 2, 3. That's it. I'm not doing this no more. I'm not doing it with y'all. Y'all messy. I'm not doing it no more. So not to say that all lesbians and all bisexuals and all gays are the same. And maybe I would have had another amazing relationship with another female. But I think I just had it up to here with everything that I was going through, and I couldn't do it anymore. So I stopped living my bisexual lifestyle because of the experience I had. Which I feel makes me even more comfortable to talk about this subject and to reach out to other young people about this subject and to talk to them, because I don't necessarily feel that you're wrong. I don't negate the fact that these feelings are true because I have these feelings. I accept your feelings. I accept that you have these feelings, and I accept that you're living this life. And it's just certain things that you have to do and certain things that you have to take care of. And of course, take care of yourself and your body and your mind. And staying in touch with God, because He's going to tell you, whether you like it or not, stop or go. You only got to answer to Him. You don't got to answer to me. You don't got to answer to church people. You don't got to answer to the priest. You don't got to answer to the reverend. You don't got to answer to the pastor. You have nobody else to answer to but God. It's between you and God. So I think it puts me in the perfect position to understand where you're coming from. Sister, I understand where you're coming from. Now continuing, I just can't help who I'm attracted to. And I hate constantly being made to feel like I'm doing something wrong for loving who I love. Despite all that, I am involved in ministry at my church and have a very strong relationship with God. And honestly, if it wasn't for Him, God alone knows where I would be today. His relentless, unconditional, never-ending love is really what has gotten me this far, and I'll forever be grateful. I'm going to stop there because she says she's involved in ministry at her church. That brings up a sore spot for me because I was involved in ministry in my church during this time when I was dating females. And whoever was watching me, not minding their business, told my leader that there's somebody in her ministry that's gay, that's living the lifestyle. Whoever it was, I don't know, but they told my leader. And so my leader came and spoke to me, and I felt very close to my leader. I felt very close to her. I used to go and talk to her about certain things, and we used to have like very real conversations about things like that. And she used to like pray with me and talk to me and stuff like that. And I felt very close to her. Like, I felt like, okay, this is somebody who's gonna understand me. I understand where I'm coming from, and I appreciated the talks. I appreciated the prayers, especially because I was confused as hell. So I was very grateful for everything because I needed somebody to talk to. Now here's where everything hit the fan. I was told to step down from ministry because of my lifestyle, and I could no longer participate. And I was still able to like sit with them or go places with them, but I could not actively participate as a member. And I'm not even going to say what ministry. I'm not going to say at what I was doing in that ministry. Just know that it was a ministry and I could not actively participate. I could be around, but I could not actively participate in this ministry. That led me to just dropping out as a whole. And I told myself that I'm going to drop out for now, but I'll be back. And I felt the most alone that I have ever felt in my life. I felt alone when I had these feelings and I actually said them out loud. Yeah, I felt alone. But that ministry was all I had at that time. And I'm getting very emotional because the pain is still there. The pain is still there. Because I felt like they were my family and then they didn't care that I was no longer there. I felt alone. I felt dropped. Every time I heard what they were doing or a new thing they were doing, a new thing they were learning, I just felt like, well, don't talk about that around me. So I don't really care. And I don't think I really said that out loud, but I guess I'm saying it now. I didn't really care to know because I was hurting. And I felt like nobody fought for me. I felt like I was doing an amazing job, what I was doing. And I felt like I was changing a lot of lives. And not only that, I felt the closest to God ever when I was doing what I was doing. I felt the closest to him. I felt like he was seeing me. I felt like when I was actively doing what I was doing, that he was just looking past everything that I done said, that I done did, and he was just seeing my heart. And I felt the closest to God when I was doing what I was doing. And it was taken away. And nobody fought for me. And if they did fight for me, nobody ever told me they fought for me. Because I probably could have come to a realization that it's just not what I want to do or not who I want to be, or let me just take a break from both females and males and just figure my life out. Maybe I could have come to that conclusion faster if I would have been allowed to stay and still allowed to talk and still allowed to be real. And I wasn't given that. So I spent a few more years doing what I wanted to do and not caring. And when I begged God to take, that night I begged God to take it away or take me away, I was still in ministry. And the night that I told God, I ain't fighting no more. It's whatever. You do what you want. I'm going to do what I want. When I pulled away from him, that was when, around the time that I stopped being part of that ministry. That ministry being taken away from me made me drop everything. I didn't want to be in church. I didn't care to be in church. I didn't care to pray. I didn't care to talk to God. I didn't want God talking to me. I didn't want him revealing things to me, because he reveals things to me all the time, and I just wanted him to stop. I just wanted him to leave me alone and let me live and let me be happy. And that night that I just told God, like, yo, I give up. I ain't being depressed over this no more, is when I left ministry. And it caused me, because I felt like I had nothing else left. So that caused me to kind of like ostracize myself. And it caused me to let go of my faith. And I started to walk away from God. And that's a very serious thing, because if you're not meeting people where they are, whether it has to do with living a gay or lesbian or bisexual lifestyle, or it's about going to clubs every night, being a stripper, being a single mother, being pregnant and not married. It doesn't matter what the situation is. If you're not meeting people where they are, you're going to lose them. And sometimes that was their chance to listen to God and to be one with God. And if you're not meeting them and they give up, sometimes they just give up totally. And I want to say that I guess I'm blessed enough to say that, yeah, I walked away from God, but now I am getting myself back together, where I know that the love of God is mine, and even though I don't deserve it, he's going to give it to me. And I have grown to the fact where I'm just like, yo, nothing else in this world matters but the relationship that I have with God. And I'm going to do this, that, and third, and I'm going to mess up, and I'm going to fall on my face, and I'm going to do the wrong things, but the love of God is forever, and he's going to love me over anything that I do. His love is unconditional, and it's never failing. And no matter what you do, you're watching this right now, I want to let you know that no matter what you do, he loves you. And it's a true love. That you could say, I'm sorry, Lord, today, and tomorrow mess up, and then the next day be like, yo, I messed up, and he gonna be like, I still love you. He loves you no matter what you're doing, no matter how you're feeling. He wants to love you. He wants to love on you. He cares about you. I don't know who needs to hear that, but he loves you. Don't give up, because he's not giving up on you. Don't give up. My sister wrote, sadly to say, especially within the black church, there's a lot of people like me who feel out of place, judged, and even ostracized because of our lifestyle. I just said that word, girl. I want to live my best life, but I've come to realize that my sexuality is always going to be a part of me, and that will always make me living my best life somewhat of a struggle. And I feel you. Even though I've stopped living the life as a bisexual, it's still a struggle. It's still an everyday struggle when I see snacks. Like, it's still a struggle. And your life will still be a struggle. But what is life without struggle? What is life without experiences? What is life without lessons learned? Also, I don't want to disappoint my parents, because I know they love me very much and have high expectations for me, but I don't want to destroy the great relationship I have with them. I feel two sides to that, only because I grew up exactly how you grew up, girl. Like, you don't want to disappoint them, but if this is who you are and this is who you truly believe yourself to be, then they're going to have to love you no matter what. And if they don't love you, then that's not you. That's their failure as a parent for not accepting you and loving you, even though. My parents had a hard time. I forgot how they found out, but it wasn't pretty. My father still says things that's just like, all right, come on, Dad, we're in 2019, you can't say things like that. And they still have a very hard time with homosexuality. And a lot of black families do. And a lot of black Christian families do. And a lot of Caribbean families do. And a lot of Caribbean Christian families do. It's a very hard subject, and especially when it's in their household, they don't know how to handle it. And it may hurt the relationship. But if your parents really love you, they're going to have to learn how to accept you for who you are and give it over to God. Again, the only person who can control anything and the only person who they have to institute and you have to institute is God. And so even though they might be mad and a little disappointed, they love you, and they're supposed to love you even though. And they're just supposed to pray for you, pray with you, and give your life over to God, because he is control of everything as far as what I'm concerned. Jah, Jesus, God, whatever you believe in, Allah, he's in control. That's all you have to listen to and who you have to answer to. And so your parents, even though you feel like you might disappoint them, you probably will, but they have to love you even though. And if they don't love you even though, then that's something that they personally have to deal with. Dre, I've already accepted the fact that it's going to be hard, and there's a lot of things that I have to get through just to feel accepted in this world. But I wanted to reach out to you to get your perspective, advice on my situation. I write this letter not only for me, but for all the millions of people like me who are in the shadows and battling with the struggle between sexuality and faith, of the acceptance of their family and friends. I know that this is a tough subject and a lot of times the most avoidable topic to talk about, but I feel like it's worth talking about because this is real life and people go through this every day. I'll be looking forward to your response. Thank you. I can start the conversation. I can do a DearDre episode and talk about the subject that most people want to avoid, but I don't want to avoid this topic. I've never wanted to avoid this topic because, like my sister said, it's real, and there are people out here battling with this between sexuality and faith. And I just want to say, you can have both. You can have both. And until you figure out who you are and who you want to be in this life, The one thing I can say is don't let go of your faith, because your faith will lead you to your answers. My faith led me to my answers. It was my faith and my experiences, but it led me to tell myself that, you know what, I'm not living this way anymore. But I'm not mad at you if you do. I'm not mad at you if you do. I'm not judging you. It's not my place. So since it's not my place, I will love you, I will accept you, and I will encourage you. That is my place. And for my religious people out there, that is our place. To love, to accept, and to encourage. That is our place. And so I don't have advice, but I do have my experiences. And I just want to say that yes, it's hard. It's a struggle. It's an everyday struggle between sexuality and faith. But you are equipped to handle this. Because God knew me before I was birthed, which means he knew you before you were birthed. And he knew that this is where you would be right now. And he knew that you would be writing a letter to DearDre about your struggles and about your fears. And you know what? He also knows where you're going to go. He also knows what your future is. He also knows where he's going to take you. So he knows. So whatever you do, no matter how hard it gets, hold on to your faith, because it will lead you to your answers. I'm happy you wrote to me. And for those of you watching, like she said and like I'm saying, this is not just for us. This is for the millions of people who's going to watch this video. This is for the millions of young people who are going through the same things. And this is for the millions of religious people who need to hear the truth and who need to stop avoiding the subject and confront it and talk about it and have a conversation and meet people where they are. And so, my sister, I'm with you. And I pray nothing but the best for you and your life and where you plan to go. This doesn't define you. It is a part of you. Just don't lose your faith no matter what you do, because God loves you. Send your letters to DearDre, to ss.DearDre@gmail.com. I am looking forward to more letters. I'm looking forward to more talks. And even though this was one of those hard conversations, I'm glad that we did it. And I'm glad that you listened. I'm glad that you heard. And I hope that you are encouraged. And if you have a friend or a family who is struggling, don't judge them. Talk to them. They need you. They need you. Later, y'all. Have a good one. Until next time. Until I can find more time.